Jules Verne, the French 19th century author who lived a life full of travel, which inspired his works such as the famous novel Around the World in 80 Days, and from these works he achieved much success and would inspire many future science fiction authors as well. Jules Verne was born February 8, 1828 in Nantes, France, which was a very busy maritime port city, and as a result he spent a lot of time near schooners and ships, which most likely sparked his imagination in terms of travel. When he was older, he moved to Paris to study law, but once he earned a degree in 1850, he became more interested in literature. After the success of his first play, Broken Straws, he worked for a theater for 3 years and wrote for a magazine. When he wrote his first long fiction, 5 Weeks in a Balloon, Verne became a full-time author. In 1865, he bought a ship and was finally able to physically quench his thirst for adventure. Jules married a woman named Madame Morel and had a son named Michael Jean-Pierre Verne. One of Verne's best friends was a publisher named Jules Herzl, who decided to feature his work and suggest he write other near-future scientific adventures called Voyages Extraordinaires. Later in his life, Verne's nephew Gaston, who was suffering from a mental illness, attempted to murder him and shot him in the shin in 1886. And Jules Verne finally died on March 24, 1905. Verne's most famous work, Around the World in 80 Days, was certainly inspired through his love of travel, both imaginary and in real life. Scientific meetings with his friends and a general development of technology helped him to incorporate facts into the story as well. As far as the characters go, Jules Verne is said to have modeled Phileas Fogg after his father. The plot of the story is, a wealthy Englishman named Phileas Fogg bets he can travel around the world in 80 days, so he and his servant, Passepartout, travel eastward around the world using various forms of transportation and come across a few adventures along the way, including rescuing an Indian princess from a sacrificial ceremony, all while being pursued by a detective named Fix who believes Fogg is a bank robber. The travel party manages to win the bet, Fogg marries the Indian princess, and everyone is happier from their experiences. The two main themes of Around the World in 80 Days is that having a positive attitude and persistence will lead to success, and true love can be found anywhere in the world. This book is not really one to strike any controversial criticism, and this book is still read today because many of the forms of transportation are still common, and it uses a lot of dramatic irony and suspense. Verne wrote some of the first science fiction stories of all time and would inspire many more to come and establish the genre's success. For this reason, he is often referred to as the father of science fiction. Some of his other notable works include as follows. Interestingly enough, Jules Verne was able to forecast inventions like airplanes, satellites, missiles, and television, and was even able to predict their uses correctly. In total, Verne wrote nearly 800 books and received a personal congratulations from Pope Leo VIII for his moral idealism. Wow. Even though Verne wrote some of the first science fiction stories in the 1800s, he remains popular through the space age and is still rather well known today. His works of imagination and innovation have appeared in motion pictures, stage performances, and television, and his writings and endeavors have sparked imaginations of writers, scientists, and adventurers throughout history. Just remember, no one should ever limit their imagination, for like Verne, their imagination may lead to the pleasure of others, or even in the advancement of the human race. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.